This is the Willpower Podcast live at the Growth Code Conference. No scripts, no fluff, just real conversations with rehab owners in the room, sharing what's working right now. What if the secret to building something great had nothing to do with you? Today on the Willpower Podcast, I'm sitting down with Scott Booher, an HR and organizational growth expert whose philosophy on leadership was forged in the coal mines of Western Pennsylvania. Scott's going to challenge the way you think about culture, connection, and what it actually means to serve the people around you. So whether you're building a team, running a practice, or just trying to lead with more intention, this conversation will stay with you. Well, Scott, thank you so much for being on the Willpower Podcast.
Yeah.
Growth Code, we're on day 2 together.
Yes.
It has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
You guys had the most amazing keynote speaker yesterday to kick this whole thing off. Could you share with the audience who that was?
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have Ellie Stroker here, Tony Award winner for the play Oklahoma. Her energy, her storytelling, her singing was just unbelievable.
People were sobbing.
Yeah, they're crying. And she was so gracious with her time. I mean, not just a great person, but someone who actually shares their time with people is so special. I mean, she was there for an hour and a half scheduled for a book signing. She stayed an extra 15 minutes. She took time to speak to every single person, took pictures, and really listened to their stories and what it meant to them for hearing her. So it was awesome.
It's a great cultural beginning to your event because this event is one of the single greatest events, and I don't say this lightly. It's why I wanted to bring my podcast studio, because I was here last year and blown away.
Thanks, Will.
There's a lot of events and conferences that people can go to. Yeah. I can't recommend this enough for lots of reasons, but the way that you described her seeing and hearing each person individually is kind of the theme for me, this connection theme that people do. The information is, of course, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, you are putting this thing on with Brandon.
Yeah.
And you guys are having this. What do you think makes it so special?
It's honestly the participants. It's really the people that come to this. I mean, we're just a connection. They have to make the relationships. And I really feel that we only did this because the people that said they wanted it. They needed the outlet. They need that collaboration. And honestly, Will, after the first year, we went into the first season or the first year of doing this, and Brandon came to me and goes, "This is a one and done. I'm not doing this again. This is too much work."
They're hard. I've done my own, and it's
yours?
unbelievably hard.
Yeah, and literally after we did the first one, we liked it. We felt great about it, but it was the people that came out to us, the participants, that said, "You know what? When's next year's? When are you doing this again?"
Yeah.
And a week later, which we thought we'd never do this again, Brandon's like, "Yep, we're doing it again." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's roll with it," because. And it was the people that continue to come back. We're so proud that we have so many people that's been here 4 years. And then we're excited because we had 40% new participants,
That's amazing.
And so the word's getting out. People even when people say, "You know what, I'm so sorry I can't make it," they feel bad, but they're like, "I'll be there next year." And it's like, this is great because we have great people like yourself speaking and so many other great presenters, but it's really at the end of the day, they just love collaborating with one another. And I think it gives them that outlet, which we love.
I think that was a very humble answer. I agree with it 100%. The participants are phenomenal. They're some of the best participants of business leaders and owners of every PT, OT, and SLP space I've seen. The thing about it, though, is that what you and Brandon do together is so, I think, again, that was a very humble answer because I was expecting we curate it with such detail. I have never been to an event that has less than 1,000 people that feels as organized as these massive multi-day conferences. It's and in some ways better than PPS to me.
Yeah.
So as you guys are going through this process and you're thinking about content, how do you decide what you're going to talk on? How do you create? Because there's 3 tracks.
Yes.
You literally can't see and hear everything when you come. So how do you pick what's going to be covered?
So we look at what's happening in the industry now. So we're looking there's a lot of AI right now. So we have tracks on that. We look at people that we just respect that is in the industry that just motivates people. Yeah. We take feedback from our participants and we find out what moves them, what they like, and then just honestly just people that we feel that is good to share the information. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, Brandon and I, Brandon does a lot of this work. Okay, I can't take credit for a lot of it, but at the end of the day, we're not here to do it for us.
Right.
I mean, Will, do you see much of our promotion of and that's a last
to a fault. Yeah. I honestly would argue
I know.
like there's almost nothing
No.
that ties what you guys do professionally to serve the industry in a way that's because you're so conscious about serving them from a place of completely unattached giving. I will say that in the end, it's what I admire most about you guys.
Oh, thanks.
And we'll talk a little bit about what you do offer because it is so powerful.
Yeah.
I think that this event is a perfect representation of how you guys do business. Yeah. Brandon said it on stage, how he feels like a brotherly connection to me. And I feel the same connection to both of you. I so admire you, both of you individually and collectively, because of the heart that you guys have as you bring this to the industry, and you're a little bit more behind the scenes, so people don't really know Scott as much.
That's okay with me.
Yeah. Well, and I think that really says a lot about you, because that loving giveness really is even more so because you're not there getting the pat on the back.
No, and I'm good with that too. I mean, I know I'm comfortable with what I do and provide to people. Yeah. So Will, there's never a day I don't go to bed sleeping fine because I give everything I can to my clients, and probably too much to a fault. Okay, but it's the passion and care that I have because I just want. I mean, the people that I get to work with, I'm fortunate to because they're out there changing lives. Right. They're making communities, families so much better. I'm not a therapist. I can't do that, or a doctor or a school teacher that we work with those companies, but I get at least to help them. Yeah. And I like to be, last night I was at an event with some team members, and one of them came up to me and he's like, "You're like the best cheerleader for us." And it's like, interesting. Thank you. And that's what you need sometimes. These owners do amazing work. And they don't get a lot of credit. And I'm there and it's like, shake it off. You're doing good, Or if you know what, we'll get there. Don't worry about it. Let's do it together. Right. And I think we all need that at times. So I just love doing that. Yeah, a cheerleader. Owners need each other. And what's interesting is the attendance here. There's 150 or so. Yeah. And you've got people who have like one location, but you have many people who have multiple locations. Yeah. And we're talking dozens or hundreds of employees. Yeah. So this is a very powerful conference. Who do you think it's for? I've heard Rick Goenda was just on the show and he's like, this is a PEDS conference. I'm like, well, is it? I wonder what you think. Who's this really for? I think it's developed into a PEDS, but we I think it gets a little stereotypes. I think we're really just honestly therapy, definitely. Our company does more than just therapy, but this conference I think is for any therapist, from adults to kids, in-home to virtual to telehealth, whatever, or in clinic, whatever it is. I think it's for all of them. I believe the same thing. Yeah. I always see the lens wherever I go from where I was trained, which is adult physical therapy practices. Yep. This is some of the best information that is out there on all regards, because there's reimbursement updates. Mm-hmm. There's all this AI information. There's tons of HR help from recruiting down to retaining. Yep. There's every marketing was a big one this year. So marketing, sales, all these things. And many of your people, this is a big compliment, I think, is that many of your attendees bring their teams. Yes. This isn't a bunch of single owners. No. Some of the people here have brought up to 8 people. Yeah, we had, I think our most this year was 9. And we love that. And it's and that just shows that those owners feel so strongly about what we're doing that they want to share it with their teams. Yeah. And we're very proud of that. And you know what? We're okay if it's just the single too, because they're smaller companies, But yeah, I think there's so much for everyone to gain. And I think what it does with the people that bring the teams, it's I want to show you what my vision is as an owner, and I want you to hear it from other people. Yeah. And I think that really moves the needle with them. I will tell you, and I want my rock stars to really pay close attention to this, is that I am a product. My success, I contribute to a couple of things. Any success I've had is directly proportionate to the number of difficult conversations I was willing to have. Yes. And meeting people at conferences. Network is your net worth is by far the biggest piece of advice I give anyone who's wanting to get started in business. My sons, they've asked me what's the and so conferences are explosive for developing relationships. Yeah. Rick Goenda and I were just talking for an earlier episode, and we were getting teary. Yeah. And we met where? At a conference 12 years ago. Oh, wow. And I see him once every couple of years, only at conferences. Yeah. And there's a brotherhood there. Conferences are great for information, great for team development, great for networking most of all. Yeah. But they can also be fun. We had this amazing dinner last night at Fogo de Chao. You guys do it so right with the fun. Let's talk about the fun element. How do you guys weave in the fun? Well, you have to. And what the best thing about that event you're sharing, Will, is that it lets people cut loose a little bit. I mean, we're here in this conference, and it's like, people share openly. But when you're outside an event, we're having fun. We catered it. We got lucky last year. We're like, this is an amazing event. Let's do it again. And just sitting in that lounge area that we have.
Yeah.
It lets everyone cut loose a little bit. We let the hair down. The owners can just actually just joke and share and lighten up, and everyone. And us too. And, we have a little bit of fun talking crap, whatever
Oh my
it
gosh.
is. It's just
a lot of bit of fun.
But it's the relationships. It's the family. It's the passion. And that's the end of the day. Like Brandon and I try to focus on, we have a business and we want to make money, of course, but we want to bring people together.
Yeah.
And that's really what moves our needle. It's like, wow. And it's like, if people can come back and say, we love your conference. We love talking to you guys because you guys keep it real. You guys just have fun. You don't sugarcoat things. That's all we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, people leave with really clear tactical executional pieces. I remember Brandon saying yesterday, you guys are going to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about 80. You're going to take the biggest, most important information that will help your biggest constraint.
Yeah.
And then boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
And the fun is really cool. Last night, me and my team were out in the streets actually like goofing around. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, you got to change the environment. And it's not like we don't have to be friends with our team members.
No.
I am, but that's evolved after the professional side was developed.
Yes.
But even if you're just connecting in a more meaningful way, you can still keep that professional connection, but it suits all things at these conferences. I really love that part. Like for you, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is actually just seeing the people and hanging out with them. Honestly, I mean, I'm stoked to just be with you. I mean, I love hanging out and talking to you.
Awesome.
I love your team. I mean, you have such a great team. But then, I mean, Rick is a friend. We used to live next to each other.
We've
gone out to dinner.
How funny.
Yeah, we've gone to dinner, and he's just a great guy. And just seeing, I have some clients here. Love seeing them, catching up with them. But just seeing people and hearing them and seeing their faces, honestly, Will. Seeing their faces. That's going back to the LA thing. It's like, I love it because it's like I saw people in line doing the books and how much it meant to them. And it's like, yes, that's what it's about. This is what we need to focus on. More of the good. There's enough crap out there. I like to come here and let's just focus on good stuff. And let's have some fun.
Yeah, I think it starts from that heart that you and Brandon both have of being go-givers. I say this objectively and not from a sales perspective. I get nothing for saying any of this. This is the best event in the PTOT SLP space, and I have an event that I run. But the reason I'm proud about that is because my event has DNA that comes from Growth Code. Brandon, I met him a year and a half ago. Yeah, he was introduced to me. And I don't remember who. I need to look that person up. But that person introduced me to Brandon, and he's like, hey, you have a conference. Brandon does conferences. Maybe he can give you some tips. And Brandon spent hours, Scott. I know it doesn't surprise you because you would do the same thing. He spent hours with me helping create the very first ever Rockstar Summit. Yeah. And so as we had that summit, I had people come up to me and like, I can't believe this was your first year. This feels like an event that's been around for years. I'm like, it's because I'm building on a foundation that you and Brandon built here with Growth Code. Yeah. And that DNA runs through it. So that's why I'm so proud about this being,
thanks.
This is the event that I'm chasing to be better. And like, I love that relationship. I want to be around people that lift me up and inspire me, which is again a metaphor for why we go to conferences in the first place.
Exactly.
So, I mean, how do you get that feedback as well that people are just blown away?
Yeah, for the most part we do, and I think 99% of it's all positive, and then you get that 1 or 2%. But we take that. I mean, I'd rather you give it to me straight. How can we improve? Because it is for you, not for us. At the end of the day, this is like a break-even event for us. I mean, it's not like a money. Like I know some people think this and that, but we invest a lot. I mean, even the food quality that we put out is the cost of that. And Will, because you run a conference. But the level, I mean, from an omelet bar to a cappuccino machine, look, we're putting as much as we get, we're putting it right back out. Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about that. Yeah. You build that goodwill, and then karma takes care of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex Hormozi says you give and you give and you give and you give until people beg to find out how to work with you. And so let's talk about that element. Because one of the things that really I'm passionate about is HR. Yeah. I hate the word HR, human relationships or human resources, because it feels very corporate. It feels very disconnected from the actual meaning of it. But I do love the phrase, and I love this, that your nickname is the HR guru. Yeah. You are the HR guru. And that, to me, the guru word brings back expertise, but also connection to that. Yeah. So what do you do to serve this audience?
Yeah, so I provide all kinds of HR services to our clients. from whether it's like fractional HR or whether it's like a monthly mentorship or whether it's just online growth code groups, where we do online learning. But I really get in there and I find out what their needs are. So I like to have what I call it a discovery call. I said, what's your needs? What's your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And what can I do to help you with that?
Yeah, yeah.
One of the sayings I tell my owners all the time I work with, I said, look, I'm not here to change your whole world. I'm here to help improve you.
Yeah.
If at the end of the day, it's your decision. If you're driving the bus, I'm just giving you the directions. If you go left and I tell you to go right, we're going to go left. That doesn't mean that I'm going to write you off. I'm going to, okay, all right, we went the wrong way. How do we do this the best possible way?
Sure.
And how do we adjust and what makes the most sense there? So it's really just listening to them. Like anything within that HR realm, it's like you're also half a counselor as well too. And it's also, I can get down with the nitty gritty. What is a little easier for me is I'm removed. I love people. I love passion. I love all that stuff.
But you don't look them in the eyes 24/7.
But I don't have to look them in the eye 24/7, and I can fire you on the spot, because I don't have that relationship. And if you can't do it,
So wait, did you say that you fire people for people?
Fire people for
okay,
people.
let's get into this. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think people are listening need
Yeah.
to hear this.
Yeah.
What are the specific things that you do? I'm sure there's a million.
Oh, there's
because
a
HR.
lot.
But that's the problem is
Yeah.
that when people are like, "Well, HR guru, what does that mean?"
Yeah,
So,
so-
what are like the top
Oh my
5
gosh.
things that you do for people that they're like, "Wow, thank you."
I would say legal compliance, making sure they're compliant. I would
Huge.
say correcting their onboarding processes, recruiting. I'm going
So
to throw
you'll
that
so
together.
you'll develop some of their
I
onboarding
do
processes.
I can do onboarding. I do recruiting.
And you'll do the onboarding
and
yourself?
I do the interview. Yeah, I'll do.
Oh my
I'll do the
gosh.
initial interviews.
So they can outsource all of this.
All of it to me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And to what level they're comfortable with, right? So then
Right.
it's also I run payroll for companies. So I also do the payroll piece. I do performance improvement plans for employees. I do, of course, the discipline progression steps. So really anything that they need, that's what I'm there for. And
Yeah.
that's and they're like, it's so hard. And then it's easier for me because I don't, like you said, I don't have to see them face to face every day, but I don't have that relationship.
Yeah.
And I personally, like if my clients ask me, I'd rather, if we have to get to this point where we have to let someone go, I'd rather it be me because I know how to do it. I know how to take that burden off them, and I know that when to cut it off because I don't go home like.
It doesn't. You don't lose sleep
I
the
don't
night
lose sleep
before.
on it.
You don't worry about
No.
it on the back end.
I feel I have empathy, but at the end of the day,
It
you know
needs to
what? If you
happen.
got to this point, it needed to happen, and I need to look out what's best for this company, and that's the most important thing.
I want to get with you off this call
Yeah.
and do something on the marketing side that we could talk about in terms of your messaging because I never knew that. I've known you for a year
Yeah.
and it's like I'm getting so clear. If we could just say,
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a Facebook ad that just said, "Are you tired of firing your people? Let us do it for you." You'd be like all these people opting in going, "Yeah, tell me more." Because,
Yeah.
and again, it's such a personal thing because you want to make sure you have the right clients. But
Exactly.
people have to have the right trust with you.
Yes, they do.
So for people who trust me, I don't give my trust openly and easily. I would trust you with my life. Like if
Yeah,
I had a PT practice, I'm actually mad that I'm meeting you now because
Yeah.
years ago, this could have been such an energy giver to me. Having to figure that out was so hard. And now that I can do it, I'm happy I can do it. But man, Scott, it was
Yeah.
just not.
It's not cool.
It's not my superpower.
No.
It's such a drain. And and it all starts with I can see where onboarding and payroll and all those things go together.
Yeah.
So even though people, I'm sure, can piecemeal elements of it, I'm guessing the best results you get are when people are doing all the above.
Yeah, it typically is, and those are the ones that are, I provide more services to, more hours to. So I think it's better because then it's more aligned. At the end of the day, it's some people have a harder time delegating things, right?
Yeah.
And you know that too. So it's more about like, what can you delegate? What can we do?
Sure.
And here's what I can offer you. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where I'm there to try to reduce these headaches for you.
Yeah.
I want the clients that we work with are working with patients, school children, all that stuff. I need them to be focusing on that. I don't need them to be hung up on these other things. Let me do that groundwork. One of my favorite statements that I heard you say during we were doing a session together. There was 5 of us online doing some education. Is it's like you talk to owners. I'm not going to say it the right way you said it. You said it better. Stop spending the $25 jobs. Stop doing the $25 jobs. If it isn't worth your hourly rate,
Yeah, man.
then you need to stop and you need to figure out who can do that. And I love that piece because I have too many people that I work with ownership-wise that they're doing the smallest, like $25 jobs, $20 jobs. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, man.
You're not being productive with your business. You need to grow it. You need to think with it. let me do this or let us outsource this. Let's talk about it. But you got to stop it, And I love that by you saying that, because it's like, put a value on you. And that's the problem I see so many people don't do.
Yeah, and this is the ickiest part of the business, man.
Yeah.
HR is the ickiest part, because it's where all the discussions come in and like all these things, and it takes so much expertise to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Having developed it for myself, I just don't care that I did. It's one of those like crazy things I know how to do that I don't like that. If I could have outsourced it in a second, I would have done it, because it's so easy to focus on what I love, which happens to make more money.
Yeah.
And happens to grow the vision and happens to free things up in all these other ways.
Yeah.
And the really impactful people don't do their own. No. They focus on what their zone of genius is. So I love that. And knowing you as well as I do, this is so your zone of genius, man.
Yeah. Well, and yours, I mean, you're a creator. Your content, your thoughts, and I wish I had some of that, but what I do have is like my knowledge in HR, my grind, my work ethic, my love and my loyalty to the people I work with. Anytime that I work with clients, I have to stop myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I use the word we. It's never your team,
right.
Your people. We got to do this. We need to put an ad out. We need to look at how we're going to change your comp structure. We need to, and it's like I catch myself. I'm like, at the end of the day, I mean, they're a client. I know that, but it's like I'm invested in them, because I think I need them to feel that. Whether I do a good job, whether they're happy, whether they're not. Thankfully, most of them are happy. I give you me. And that's just the way I don't know why. It's just the way I've always been. If you're going to get it, you're going to get the whole thing.
Well, it goes back to you and Brandon being such go-givers.
Yeah.
I think that mentality is so core to what you do and your success. And it reminds me, for me, one of the most measurable impacts that I had as a business owner, I remember the first time feeling true relief when Michelle Bambanek, who and she's amazing. Shout out to Michelle.
Yeah.
She came in as a clinic director that rose through the ranks and then started overseeing other clinic directors. Yeah. She handled basically all the HR components, all the relationship stuff that tied to anyone underneath her in the org structure. Yeah. And I just remember her one time saying, oh, but that person I told you we were having problems with, just to let you know, we let her go and we've replaced her with somebody. I mean, I wasn't even involved. I was just being told. I had some approvals I needed to give.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was like I was just double checking things, and I saw that everything was meeting where it needed to go. She was way more compliant than I would have done things, because as an owner, I just run and gun. So she dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and then the craziest thing, Scott, the next day after she fired this person, they left a positive review on Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
I remember thinking,
oh my,
why would I try to be that person?
Yeah.
I would never be that person.
No.
And people like you and Michelle, it's like you love it because you're so good at it, and you've earned your 20,000 hours.
Yeah.
So you love sharing that with people who,
I do.
frankly, they hate it or it drains them.
Exactly. And yes, Michelle's amazing. I got the chance to talk to her and meet with her. I think, you're so lucky to have her part of your team.
Very lucky.
Yeah. But yeah, it's how do you let people down? Look, people are going to be upset if you have to let them go. I understand that. How do we let them down, and how do we protect our brand? And that's what I'm always thinking about. Like, how do we protect the brand? I'm very focused on all my clients' brand, and that's something that I really try to strive. I said, look, take the extra mile. So when I'm doing interviews, or I'm doing, or like even if someone applies to a job and they're not qualified, they're going to get a note from me.
Yeah.
They're going to get an email from me, okay? I don't just blow them off. So many companies do that because it's like, I don't know when the next person's coming along. If they have a good experience, and they might refer another student. Therapists are hard to find. So I'm always looking like, look, let's always put our positive energy out there. Even when we let people down, we thank them for their time. We appreciate them. Because who knows? Maybe they'll refer their friend who's actually a great therapist to our company. How do we continue our looking that way? So always looking at the brands, looking at how we can always be a positive thing in our industry. And when we let people down or let them go, not let them down, but let them go.
We are kind of letting them down.
Yeah, we're letting them down. You're right.
I think those are interchangeable for sure.
That's a great point. Yeah, and we're trying to do it in a professional manner, a caring manner, but at the same time, the decision's final. You know? And that's what you have to say. But that's what I like to kind of get through to our clients at times.
Well, and I love how you've offered your structure of service, because you have abilities of like, there's entry level points, there's scalable elements of that. I personally think you undercharge what you guys do. But anyway, so tell me, if someone's listening to this and they're like, hey, I would like to learn more.
Yeah.
How about either Growth Code or this service? How would they find that information?
Yeah, really just our website, the Wellness Works MP.
Wellness Works.
M
as in Mary.
M as in Mary, P as in Paul.
Okay.
.com.
Got it.
That's how you get the best information about our company.
And it is a pleasure to have you on the show,
I
Scott.
appreciate it,
Thank you
Will.
so much for
It's
being
an honor.
on the show.
Thank you, brother.